This talks about trade settlement in other currencies. You've got the chart of the renminbi, which is the red line, the euro, which is the dark line, and then you've got the dotted line, which is the US dollar. If you look at this going back from 2019 to 2025, there has been a decline in the number of trade transactions which are settling in dollar. I won't call it very dramatic because the average at that time was about 86-87%. It's dropped consistently over the last 2-3 years and is down to about 81-82%. Which currency has been gaining share in terms of trade transactions settling? That is the renminbi. So if you look at the red line in 2019, on average, the percentage of trades which was settling in renminbi was about less than 2%. That number has now risen to almost 5 to 6%. So there is, it appears, some sort of a trend in terms of a reduction in the use of dollar and an increase in the use of other currencies. Euro more or less stable. But at the same time, I would not really call it a structural change as yet, because the movement is very marginal. But this is something which we will have to continue watching for a variety of reasons. People are looking for alternatives to the dollar. Now, you will see some echoes of this on the next slide. So in this slide, we are talking about dollar. Now, a lot of the demand for the dollar obviously comes from people who are trying to do transactions. This could be businesses. This could be individuals, either sending money overseas for remittances or for investments. And so there are multiple reasons why people demand the dollar. But one of the other sources of buying comes from central banks, because all the central banks own a large chunk of foreign exchange reserves, and they have to take a choice of where do we deploy it. This, I think, is a very persistent trend, unlike the previous slide on trade transactions, where if you look at the US dollar, which is the red dotted line, on the right hand side, this used to account for almost 64% of total central bank assets going back 25 years. It has consistently dropped from there, and it has now dropped down closer to about 45%. So I would say this looks like a pretty structural trend in the reduction of dollars within the system. And you can again see that from sometime in 22-23, there has been a sharp leg down in terms of the dollar. And from 2020-21, you see a sharp spike up in the green line. The green line is the central bank buying of gold in terms of their assets. So very clearly, central banks across the world have been increasing their exposure to gold, and at the same time they have been reducing their exposure to the dollar. And I would submit that at some level this now looks more like a structural trend which appears to be playing out over many years.
Mutual fund investments are subject to market risks. Read all scheme-related documents carefully.